everybody. I'm here with
Jason Howard.
I know it's Jason Howard, and like I always have this like brain fart when I'm like introducing people on camera because I'm like, don't say it wrong.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson, everybody.
That's right.
Hey, what can you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your work?
Sure. I'm a comic book artist. I'm currently drawing Trees, which is a comic science fiction series from Image Comics written by Warren Ellis. And before that, I worked a lot with Robert Kirkman, who I still keep in touch with. We did a series called Super Dinosaur, which is like an all-ages action-adventure cartoon book. Right. And then prior to that, we did a series called The Astounding Wolfman, which is a werewolf superhero book. And so, yeah, I've had a pretty fun career getting to work on a lot of creator-owned books with writers who I really kind of respect their work. And so.
How did you get into drawing and in the business, really?
Well, the drawing side, I mean, I was drawing since I was a kid and just didn't stop. I went to school for graphic design because my parents said comics aren't probably a real job. We encourage it, but maybe you should think about, making money in your life. So I went to school for graphic design, but always drew comics and copied from comics and, did comics on the side. And as I was finishing school, I started doing some small press books with small publishers and getting into actually getting comic work published. But none of it was paying very much. Right. And so after a summer of that, I was like, well, I should probably start looking for a graphic design job. And I got one pretty quickly at a local company. And then that led to 10 years of that. Right. And I became an art director and got to do a lot of cool stuff, a lot of packaging design. So it was not a wasted experience. And I had health insurance and vacation days. And so there was a lot of benefits. But on the side, I kept doing comics because that's kind of what I love. Right. And it was a lot more creative for me as far as actually drawing and that kind of stuff. So at some point, I was doing a lot more comics. I was taking up a lot of my free time, like every evening and weekends, and I had met Robert Kirkman and we had started working together on a couple smaller projects. Yeah. So when we launched The Astounding Wolfman, the first 6 issues of that were drawn around my day job. Okay. And then it got to a point where, kind of one had to go. Right. And so I decided to take the leap into freelance comic book lifestyle. Yeah. So that was about 9 years ago. So it's been good ever since. It's got its ups and downs, but it's a job like anything. You have to kind of manage it and treat it like a job and treat it like a professional business and kind of plan and deal with all the work stuff. Right. And not just the creative fun stuff. Yeah. But it's been good, and for me, I feel like the years I spent at the professional day job gave me a lot of skills to help me kind of manage the comic book stuff maybe a little easier than I would have if I'd never done that other stuff first.
Right, because I imagine working at a place where, like for graphic design, you have your schedules, you have like project meetings here and there, yeah. all that stuff.
Yeah, so. It was a big company, and we were just one department in that company, yeah. So it was very structured and rigid, and budgets and deadlines and customers and clients and all that stuff. And I mean, it's got to be on point. It's where I feel like in comics sometimes there's a tendency for people to be a little more loosey-goosey with stuff and not take it as seriously or treat it as business-like. And you have to find that balance where you want to be creatively inspired and do your best work, but you've got to do it on time and you've got to get it out there. And we all know artists or writers who we love, yeah, who aren't maybe able to get it out as timely as you want, and you're like, oh man, and so for me it's always that balance of I want it to be awesome, and I'm very much, the more time I spend on something, the better it gets. Yeah. So it's always a battle to be like, all right, I've got my budgeted time, I've got my schedule, I have to look at the book as a whole. I want to get a book done, yeah, not just 5 great pages. I want every page to be great, but I can't just have 5 amazing pages and no comic. Nobody's going to read that. Right, so
because every page is your page, right? And so you're you don't want to just do one or two, every bit is you, right, and you want that to represent yourself. So I get that.
Yeah, and it's trying to find that consistency. Yeah. So you're able to work at a consistent level that's all good, This is how I view it anyway. Everybody looks at stuff different. But for me, I'm like, I want everything to hit a good level, and hopefully if I'm having a great day, it spikes up to a great page. Yeah. But I can be consistent enough where I can try to avoid, even if I'm having a bad day, I've kind of learned enough tricks and, develop my skills where I can still get past that and do a good page that day. So hopefully that's the plan anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter, the Jason Howard, and then my website is jasonhowardart.com, and Instagram is Jason Howard Art as well. So probably Twitter I'm the most active, but I'm not the most socially active person. But comic book conventions are a great place.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jason. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Hello, Ryan.
Hello.
That's your name?
My name is Ryan. Yes, you are correct.
It's so nice to meet you.
It is nice to meet you as well, Oates.
That's me.
That's your name, right?
I'm cosplaying as Oates. Oates. From Hall & Oates?
Oh, Hall & Oates.
Man-eater.
Yeah, man-eater.
Yeah, that's it.
You eat men.
I do.
That's good.
Oh my God.
It's like zombies.
Yeah. Soylent Green is Oates.
Soylent Green, yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, hey man, thank you for taking some time out to talk to me. Like I was saying before I asked you for the interview, I love it. I love Grizzly Shark.
Thank you. It's awesome.
Just the art, the fact that it's a shark in the woods that concept is so weird, so ridiculous that it absolutely works. Where did you come up with the thought?
The thought of that? Well, it really came from Jason Howard and I, the sea bear and the grizzly shark. We were just hanging out in a hotel and we came up with these dumb ideas of a bear and a shark switching places.
Oh, nice.
So, bear in the ocean, shark in the woods eating campers. We're like, no, that's so dumb. Let's just do it. Let's have side projects. Something we wanted to do 24-hour comic day. I mean, you've heard of 24-hour comic day. Just comic artists spend 24 hours in a row just making their own comics from start to finish. Yeah. Writing, pencil, inking, lettering, everything. Wow. And so that's what we did. So I took the grizzly shark, he took the sea bear, and we did our own thing. Yeah. And I failed at the 24-hour comic day, but I wrote all of it in like 30 minutes, and then I drew 10 pages in 24 hours. So
I don't know if you failed because I still bought your comic.
Well, I finished it eventually,
yeah.
But it wasn't a 24-hour comic anymore. It was like, I didn't add them all up or time them all, but yeah.
I mean, who math, right?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you're an artist. You don't need math. I don't know. Is it?
I never used most stuff I learned in school. I don't use any of it anymore.
like how to tie my shoes.
Yes, I don't use that. It's all about the Velcro, always.
What is your motivation? Your kind of creative motivation to in drawing and stuff like that?
I'm motivated to do crazy, insane stuff because I get bored sometimes. I mean, the Invincible is very fun to do, but it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to write something. I want to play. I want to play with my toys. Can they hear me with this?
What?
Can they?
Yeah, no, they absolutely can.
You got me. They can. Okay, good.
Standard joke.
Yeah, it was good. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted this side job, something to do, just insane, something insane where I could just let it all out and just have fun. So,
is there any other insane ideas cooking up there that you're planning on drawing out?
There's other ideas. I don't know if I want to go that insane because that's insane. I mean, when I finished it, I read it and I'm like, what the hell? Why would I do that? But a lot of it was I came up with I'm totally sleep deprived. Like 16 hours in on 24-hour comic day, it's just like you are coming up with the dumbest, craziest ideas ever. You're just going insane. So it's pretty awesome.
I imagine that being at cons, right? You get a little bit sleep deprived, right? If you're coming from LA, then you're like 6 hours, so you should have some really good ideas by the end of the con.
I probably should, but yeah, I haven't been thinking about it. I probably should hang out with Jason more, come up with some dumb ideas. But
absolutely. We talked to Jason earlier. He's awesome too. You guys are both awesome, and I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us. Is there any way we can get a hold of you? A telephone?
Just call me up, man. Just email Email for my website. I'm all over social media. The Twitters, the Facebooks, the Tumblrs, the Instagrams. Yeah. So.
All right, cool deal, Ryan. I appreciate you hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Hello, everybody, and welcome again to Game of Thrones Fantasy League. I am Brandon Cruz of Apathetic Enthusiasm, and welcome to another week. I think this is week 4, if my basic public school math serves me correctly.